I'd like to call to order the Town of Shandaken Town Board meeting for February 2021. Please rise for the Pledge of Allegiance.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Roll call, please.
Board Member Stefani.
Here.
Board Member Steen.
Here.
Board Member Storms. Board Member Van Blarkum.
Here.
Supervisor Stanley.
Super Stanley at
Super
will.
Stanley.
Yes, I'm here too. Entertain a motion for the approval of previous town board meeting minutes.
Make that motion.
Second?
Favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Thank you. Supervisor financial report is not in my folder.
Oh,
Oddly
yeah.
enough.
She gave me, yeah, she got done late today.
Okay.
Did you get the totals in your box?
No. Oh,
Supervisor report, February 2021, registrar fees $10, tax warrant, real property $1,211,225, medical insurance reimbursement $322.24, zoning $100, ambulance fees $8,908.18, town clerk easy pass $25, rental for cell $1,300.73, justice fees $9,410, building fees $3,989, dog licenses $1.50, pilot program firelight $7,774.09, miscellaneous credit Pine Hill Water District $9.10, planning $375, highway revenue $882,242.22, wagering $10 for a total of $2,125,702.06. Communications, really not much to talk about other than the resolutions that are before us tonight. I can tell you that we are continuing moving forward with the Peck Hollow Bridge project. We have some resolutions tonight regarding the DOT now has an EBO system. It's a website they have to sign on to for their grant processing system. So we have to be authorized through resolution to enter into that system to continue on through the grant that we have for the replacement of the Peck Hollow Bridge. We have a shortage of gravel, which Eric says we need to go out for crushing bids again, which we do periodically. We've done that generally every 2 years, and we're due. We do have a new Shandaken septic district, so we are advertising for a district superintendent. Basically, this is going to be a position similar to Rick Riccadella or Don Clark in the water districts. It's a contact person that will be receiving calls from people within the septic maintenance district of Shandaken by the intersection of Route 42 and Route 28. The salary is commensurate on the amount of work. We are not sure how much work it's going to entail, but applicants should certainly send their applications in to the town hall, to my office. We will conduct interviews and figure out from there what is the commensurate salary moving forward. We do have, the police committee has finished their revision and review report, and Kevin will speak further on that. We will have to enter into a public hearing for the town board to accept the draft plan that's been put forward. I know Joyce has put out there that it's open for public comment on our town Facebook page as well as our town website. And we'll have a public hearing prior to the meeting next month. We have to adopt this and submit it to the state prior to April 1st in order for our budget to be validated by the state. We have another homeowner who is looking to enter into the New York City flood buyout program up in Oliveria, which we've been quite anticipating, and I'm sorry for the homeowner, but it is a home that is in a rather dire situation by McKinley Hollow, tends to get flooded out quite repeatedly, and they are looking to enter into the flood buyout program, at least get an offer from the DEP on an assessment of their property. We have some issues with a flood buyout in Mount Tremper for a resolution to solve that. We have to appoint 2 new members to our assessment review board. We have a recommendation for the second vice chair for the ORDA board. ORDA runs Bel Air, and there are 2 representatives, one from Delaware County and one from Ulster County. In the past, it was Joe Kelly from Delaware County and John Parody from Ulster County. It is now Diane Monroe from Delaware County, who has been there for 2 years, and I guess Thomas Keegan from Kingston has been appointed for Ulster County now from the governor's office. Of those 2 appointees, Diane Monroe is the one that we're supporting for the second vice chair. She's a longtime skier at Bel Air, and she's been on the board and been involved with Bel Air with the ORDA board for a number of years now, and we certainly hope her the best of success in bringing more money and more economy for Bel Air.
So is this a resolution to just recommend one over another?
Yeah, that's all it is. It's either one or the other, and Tommy was just appointed this year.
Right.
Diane has been on for 2 or 3 years since Joe stepped down, is more familiar with the operations of Bel Air and such. I haven't heard anything from Tommy saying he was opposed to Diane saying anything. Outside of that, we have some housekeeping issues. We do have one, lighting. Our light fixtures are antiquated, as with most things in this building, and we need to upgrade, so we have a bid for $24.95 from Dougie Thornton to replace many of the fixtures and go to LED lighting, which would save us in the long term in the electrical costs, as well as update us so we can get bulbs that we can actually replace. So I'd like an approval for that from the board. We'll do that as a motion. The second one, as you can notice, is the mold removal process. If everybody's noticed, Santa Stall has been here. We had mold intrusion in one of the lower offices because of it being basically underground and not the best drainage outside the building. We elected to hire this company to do the mold removal. They have started on that. During the mold removal process, it was noticed that the carpeting in the lower floors was kind of inundated with mold and needed to be removed. Thus, it is an additional cost beyond what they originally were looking at, which was really just the walls and ceilings and such, and insulation. So the flooring, once we got into the flooring, the cost now is standing at $8,750. That I'm requesting that we'd have to go to Good Neighbor funds. I'm getting a little uncomfortable with how much this is costing us longer term, but it does have to be done. I mean, the lower floor has to be removed. We couldn't have that anymore. The carpets were just nasty. It was gross when they took them out. So they're putting in a commercial vinyl floor that looks like hardwood, and hopefully we get another 10, 15, 20 years out of it.
I think those floors were put in with Bob Cross.
That's what I was thinking about that today too. I think the carpeting was put in when Bob
I
Cross
think
was
our
here.
first year.
So that's probably 15 years ago now.
14,
So-
15, yeah.
So anyway, we'll do that through a motion. But aside from that, I have no further communications. Town board members?
Well, they do, okay. You want to do mine?
Yeah,
You
announcements.
guys just turn up your microphone a little smidgen to the, away from you, just a little.
Just a little bit, we're a little low.
Alright. Okay, so, the town hall is still closed to the public until further notice. All transactions should be completed online. The town hall is still closed to the public until further notice. All transactions should be completed online, over the phone, or through the mail. Tax payments are still not being accepted at our window. And if you could mail them in, we'd really appreciate it. We've had a lot of taxes come in January this year. I don't know why, but it's been very, very busy. All town meetings are now closed to the public. We have live feed of our meetings on Spectrum Cable on channel 23. 2 days later, all videos are uploaded to our YouTube channel. And we'll open the phones for public comment later. And one last thing, we know the mail is slow. We just received a tax payment from a citizen in Phoenicia that she mailed on January 15th. And this is not our local mail people that's doing this. This is the sorting stations all over the place. We always honor the postmarks on envelopes, don't worry. Also, we know that many people have not yet received their tax bills, even though we mailed them all out on January 4th. You may look up your bill on our tax website, www.shandakentax.com. Landowners are still required to pay taxes regardless if they get a bill or not. And this is according to New York State property tax law. Receipts are also available on our website. They will not be mailed out in bulk anymore. If you can get online, you can get your receipt. Folks who don't go online, of course, can call us and we will send out a receipt to them. And that's it.
So with that, we'll move on to committee reports. Ambulance.
January 2021 report. Total calls received, 47. Mutual aid given, 2. Town of Olive, 1. Town of Lexington. Mutual aid received, 0. It was an incredibly busy January, and about a third of the call volume can be attributed to increased calls at the mountain, total of 14. Employees continue to follow up on their second COVID vaccines to better protect them while performing their duties. Fortunately, thus far, we have only had 2 confirmed COVID cases throughout the pandemic of off-duty personnel and 3 cases of individuals that have proximate contact while off-duty. Compared to similar-sized agencies in the region, we have been extremely lucky. Thanks to our County Department of Emergency Services, as well as our own proper planning in regards to personal protective equipment acquisition, we have sufficient PPE for the foreseeable future. As of February 4th, there were 2,320 active cases of COVID in Ulster County, with 14 active cases in the town of Shandaken. Total cumulative cases in the town have reached 66, with 52 individuals that have recovered, and we still thankfully have no fatalities. Total cumulative cases in the county have reached 9,655 with 215 fatalities. 7,120 cases have successfully recovered. In other news, the cardiac monitors have been delivered and have entered service. Many thanks to the town board, as well as the town of Shandaken taxpayers for making the acquisition of these essential devices possible. These monitors will undoubtedly save lives in the town and will be utilized daily by our staff. As an added bonus, it was discovered that many of the parts from the older monitors could be utilized on the newer ones. Pricey parts such as defibrillator pads, monitor leads, and various case parts can be adapted to fit them, further saving thousands in continuing equipment expenditure. In conclusion, please stay safe and remember, please wear a mask when in public. Practice social distancing and limit gatherings. It could save your life. Stay safe out there. Richard Muller-Lally.
Thank you, Kyle. Building and zoning, did you get something?
I have something, yeah.
Yep.
Okay. For January 21, there were 11 building permits, 2 demolition permits, 2 floodplain permits, 12 building inspections, 4 certificates of occupancy, and 5 certificates of compliance, 1 stop work order, and 1 violation. Total income of $3,580.
Yeah, again, so just to add to that, you will note there is a resolution tonight to hire a new secretary for the Building and Zoning Department, so there has been kind of a standstill there for some time, but I think we've cleared that up, and we look forward to the young lady that's coming in and doing the job. So. Police?
There's no official report, but our reform committee had a town hall meeting on Zoom about 2 weeks ago. It was very productive. A lot of citizens came out, or stayed in, I guess, on Zoom, and told us, so we shared some stories, had some experiences. Yeah, it was very productive, and we're going to finish writing up our proposal in the next couple weeks, or I guess it's done, is that what you're saying? So,
What was it, mid-month, mid-February, Joyce?
but we'll have it by the next meeting.
Yeah, February
absolutely.
14th.
Yeah.
Yeah, so middle of the month, look forward to us posting a copy of the draft, of the final draft of the plan, and please submit your comments to us.
There was about 40 people at that Zoom
Yeah,
meeting.
it was awesome, yeah.
Yeah, the link's right at the top right of our website, shandaken.us.
Phoenicia Water, they did have a major break, which was successfully repaired within a matter of hours. What was it, last week?
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
It was a major
snow,
break,
or-
occurred overnight, the pipe just sheared. So they had to fix it, and thankfully they
Froze?
found it.
From freezing or
I
just
think it was actually from thaw.
from thaw?
When it started thawing, that warm spell we had, it
Yep,
just
yep.
settled. And it's along 28, and we know that on that section on 28, it's all sitting on ledge rock.
Yeah.
So it's kind of on this half ledge rock, half roadbed thing
Yeah.
that just doesn't settle properly. Pine Hill Water, nothing to report. Museum.
Director's report, January 2021. We've had fewer visitors due to the pandemic, however, we are open by appointment. We've had 13 visitors this month with the addition of at least 25 students. Mr. Gabe Bono, principal of the Bennett School, was here and did a live virtual tour for his students at 8 a.m. on the 25th. He would like to send his teachers to do virtual field trips for their classes as well going forward. Eventually, businesses will reopen, and I can now look forward to schools participating in our local history. I've continued posting our history on the internet and have received numerous requests for research. Richard Sachs is interested in old suspension bridges. Rona Gallup is curious about Ulster Phoenicia Printing Company, run by Carl Demon. Jill Press wants to know about Schmidt's Farm. Dean Eyre wants to know more about Bel Air and relevance to the name Eyre. Mike Riccatello was interested in the Waldorf Hotel. Rachel Dawn wants a property search in Pine Hill, and Ann O'Neill is looking for ancestry research. We continue to follow New York State guidelines. Stay well. Kathleen Myers, Director, Historian.
Very good. It was good. Here. Oh, public comment?
Town Hall. Oh, who's this? Oh, okay, sounds good, good. Do you have any questions pertaining to the resolutions?
There's nothing from Recreation.
All right, good, thank you. That was my deputy clerk. She says the sound is much better since we turned the mics
Oh,
up.
okay. Well, Jackie, if you could wait till we get to open public
Yeah,
comment, that'd be fine. But
Give Rick our number.
recreation, nothing really to report.
Only they're replacing the shed at the dog park.
Okay.
Being pulled down.
And again, I had another conversation, Kevin and I should get together, talk about a conversation I had with somebody today regarding Mount Tremper. And again, we continue to ask that we're looking at possibly placing a park down there in Mount Tremper. And if anybody down there, anybody with kids wants to help shape a future park for the town of Shandaken, contact us and let us know what your kids are looking for and stuff, and what we need as a community. So. Outside of that, we'll go to public comments and resolutions.
They can call 845-688-5004 if you want to call in. First caller wins a prize. No, you don't.
We'll mention your name.
Yeah. And you have to give your name and where you live. You can't just call, and not say anything. So when will they be done with the project in the building, on the floors and stuff, you think? A week or two?
I got bad news today, so I don't want to talk about it right now. Yeah. The window may take quite some time.
Oh, well, she doesn't need a window right away.
No, like a month.
Oh. But
No.
in town time, that's not long.
A window would be good in there.
Yeah.
Window would be good in there.
Especially when
It already smells a lot better in there and looks a lot cleaner. All right, so we're gonna put the phone on
All right.
hold, and then comment laughter if they want to.
So, with that, we'll move on to motions. As I said, I have a proposal from Doug Thornton to change the lighting fixtures within the town hall for $24.95. That would come out of the buildings line, just an expense, but if everybody's okay with that,
I make that motion.
okay, do I have a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Thank you. And second one. I'm gonna do my best to get them down, but I don't know where we're at anymore. Like, we have this company that's here, they're doing the work. I'm not willing to pay $87.50 for everything that needs to be done. I think that's just a little outrageous. I mean, I know the flooring is gonna cost us around $2,500, just the flooring alone, just the material. So, looking at that, and then there is some work that has to be done out here regarding the floor and fixing some problems, and that's what created the mold situation in the first place. So there's some structural stuff that needs to be done. You know, that's maybe $1,000 for what needs to be done there. But, and laying down the floors, yeah, we did go into the courtroom.
Is it concrete underneath?
Down in the basement, yeah, down in the lower floor.
Do we have to put flooring over it? Can't we just paint it?
It's got so much glue and crap
Yeah,
on
it's-
it.
it's nasty.
It's the
It's
old
all-
flooring from the 1950s,
No,
it's
no,
showing.
it's not.
It's got all that scruffy glue on there, it'd have to be, if they got big sanders
Yeah,
and did it, it's
it's-
gonna be a mess.
It's from the 30s.
30s.
It's a concrete floor that was poured in.
Right.
What are we proposing putting down? A linoleum of some kind?
It's
A
a-
glue down or a
Like a
click-together
grip
floating
lock.
floor?
It's a click-together floating floor. It's like a vinyl stick
yeah.
floating floor.
Right.
But it doesn't stick to the floor, it
Right,
sticks
it
to
floats.
each other.
Yeah, yeah,
Grip lock.
Yeah, the grip lock stuff.
yeah, yeah.
So, I'd like approval to use the good neighbor funds. I'll do my best to negotiate the price down. I yelled at him today. I said that she was ready, oh, you sent me, we're ready to sign off on this and order this stuff. And I'm like, this doesn't, it's not adding up. And I asked for a further breakdown, so. What I'll do is I'll forward you guys the bids or the invoice as she sends them to me and what the things are. And then we'll go from there. But I'd like approval from the Good Neighbor Fund to utilize those funds for this, because if it ends up even at $7,000, it's still quite a bit to pull from the building fund at this time.
Yeah,
So-
yeah, but do you wanna put a cap on it, or do you wanna?
That's what I'm saying, if we do $7,000
$7,000.
from the Good Neighbor Fund, and then we figure out from there. If they come in at 7,500, then we pull 500 from building, and
Yeah, yeah.
So not to
Everybody's
exceed, how much?
not to exceed $7,000.
All right. Do we have a,
Make that motion.
Oh, second.
Second?
All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you. Okay, on to resolutions.
I'll start. Resolution to pay all bills, 4921. Whereas the Department of Audit and Control require town boards to sign and inspect all vouchers coming into the town for payment to number and total amounts from each fund. Therefore be it resolved, the town board authorize the following vouchers paid. From general, $203,950.80. From highway, $239,717.09. From Phoenicia Water, $11,598.32. Pine Hill Water, $678. Phoenicia Lights, $1,138.26. Chichester Lights, $164.43. Pine Hill Lights, $724.61, for a total of $457,971.51. And I move its adoption.
Second.
Board Member DeScalani?
Yes.
Board Member Steen?
Yes.
Board Member Van Blarkum?
Yes.
Supervisor Stanley?
Yes.
Resolution 5021, appoint planning, zoning, building secretary. Whereas under section 20 of the town law, the town board shall designate all appointed officers and employees of the town. Therefore, be it resolved that the following personnel be appointed to the Shandaken Building Zoning Planning Department at the following rate. Sarah Pellizzari at $13 per hour, and move its adoption.
Second.
Board Member DeScalani?
Yes.
Board Member Steen?
Yes.
Board Member Van Blarkum?
Yes.
Supervisor Stanley?
Yes. Resolution 5121, identifying the town of Shandaken supervisor as the responsible local official authorized to access New York State DOT's EBO system. Whereas the New York State Department of Transportation, NYS DOT, has implemented a web-based reporting system called Equitable Business Opportunities, EBO, to streamline and satisfy Title VI civil rights reporting requirements for federal aid locally sponsored contracts. And whereas NYS DOT requires that each local municipality is a subrecipient of New York State DOT federal funds and sponsor of federal contracts to identify a single primary user in order to access and use the system for Title VI compliance reporting requirements. Therefore, be it resolved that the town board identifies Robert A. Stanley, town supervisor, as the town's responsible local official authorized to access the EBO system as the town's EBO administrator, and be it further resolved that this resolution is effective immediately, and move its adoption.
Second.
Board Member DeScalani?
Yes.
Board Member Steen?
Yes.
Board Member Van Blarkum?
Yes.
Supervisor Stanley?
Yes.
Resolution number 52-21, Assessor Board of Assessment Review. Whereas under Section 20 of the town law, the town board shall designate all appointed officers and employees of the town. Therefore, be it resolved that James Cope be appointed as member of the Shandaken Board of Assessment Review. Term to expire September 30th, 2024.
Yes.
And Elizabeth Niesel also be appointed as member of Shandaken Board of Assessment Review, term to expire September 30th, 2025, at no compensation, and move its adoption.
A second. And if they can figure out a way to have their terms end in 3024 and 3025, God bless them. Tell me the secret.
They're in.
Board Member DeScalani?
Yes.
Board Member Steen?
Yes.
Board Member Van Blarkum?
Yes.
Supervisor Stanley?
Yes.
Resolution 5321, resolution recommending the appointment by the governor of a second vice chair to the Board of Directors of the Olympic Regional Development Authority. At a meeting of the town board of the town of Shandaken, the town supervisor offered the following resolution. Whereas Bel Air Mountain Ski Center is located in the town of Shandaken and Middletown and Ulster and Delaware counties, respectively, and whereas Bel Air Mountain Ski Center is managed and operated by the State of New York Olympic Regional Development Authority, and whereas, among other things, Public Authorities Law 2608, number 1, the ORDA and the ORDA bylaws provide that ORDA is a public benefit corporation and a board of directors of which shall consist of 12 members, 3 of whom consist of the Commissioners of Environmental Conservation, Economic Development, and Parks, Recreation, and Historic Preservation, and the other 9 of whom are to be appointed by the governor, and by and with the advice of the consent of the Senate, and 2 of those board members shall be residents of Ulster and Delaware counties, and the governor shall appoint a chairperson, a vice chairperson, and a second vice chairperson from among any of the members of the authority, and such chairpersons, vice chairpersons, and second vice chairpersons shall serve at the pleasure of the governor, and provided that the second vice chairperson of the ORDA Board of Directors shall be appointed upon the recommendation of the town boards of the town of Shandaken and the town of Middletown, must be a resident of either Ulster County or Delaware County. And such an appointment shall be recommended to the governor through a majority vote of the combined 2 town boards determining who shall be recommended. And whereas, among other responsibilities, it will be the responsibility of the second vice chairperson to chair any meeting of the ORDA Board of Directors in the event that the chairperson and vice chairperson are absent, recused, or unavailable for any other reason. Whereas the ORDA Board of Directors does not currently have a second vice chairperson, Therefore, be it resolved that after careful consideration and due deliberation by a majority vote, the town board of the town of Shandaken has determined that Diane Monroe, who was appointed by the governor to the Order Board of Directors and who is a resident of Delaware County, shall be recommended to the governor for appointment to the position of second vice chairperson for the Order Board of Directors, and I move its adoption.
Second.
Board Member DeScalani?
Yes.
Board Member Steen?
Yes.
Board Member Van Blarkum?
Yes.
Supervisor Stanley?
Yes.
Resolution 54-21, advertise for gravel crushing bids. Whereas the town of Shandaken Highway Department is seeking bids for crushing of item 4 at the town-owned gravel bank. Specifications are available on the Highway Superintendent's Office, 7209 Route 28, Shandaken, New York, or by calling 845-688-9901. Therefore, be it resolved, bids will be received at the town clerk's office, Shandaken Town Hall, 7209 Route 28, P.O. Box 67, Shandaken, New York, 12480, no later than 3 p.m. on Monday, March 1st, 2021, to be opened at the regular town board meeting scheduled for 7 p.m. that evening, and move its adoption.
Second.
Board Member DeScalani?
Yes.
Board Member Steen?
Yes.
Board Member Van Blarkum?
Yes.
Supervisor Stanley?
Yep. 5521, advertise for Shandaken Septic District Superintendent. Whereas the town of Shandaken maintains its Shandaken Septic Maintenance District, the town is seeking to hire a person to supervise the activities of the district. Whereas the town board, under section 20, notes decision 9 of the town law, the town board shall appoint all employees of the town. And whereas the town wishes to explore available options for this position, and therefore be it resolved, the town of Shandaken will advertise for the position immediately, with interviews to be conducted before the end of the month, and person to be hired at our next regularly scheduled town board meeting. And to move its adoption.
Second.
Board Member DeScalani?
Yes.
Board Member Steen?
Yes.
Board Member Van Blarkum?
Yes.
Supervisor Stanley?
Yes.
Resolution number 56-21, set public hearing on police committee report. Whereas the town of Shandaken requires that the town board set a public hearing on the police reform committee recommendations to the Shandaken Town Board for approval. Therefore, be it resolved that the town board of Shandaken will hold a public hearing on said report prior to its regular scheduled meeting on Monday, March 1st, 2021 at 6:45 p.m. at the town hall, 7209 Route 28, Shandaken, to hear all comments for or against, and move its adoption.
Second.
Board Member DeScalani?
Yes.
Board Member Steen?
Yes.
Board Member Van Blarkum?
Yes.
Supervisor Stanley?
Yes.
Resolution 5721, supporting participation in the New York City funded flood buyout program for 620 Oliveria Road, Oliveria, New York, 12464. Whereas the town of Shandaken is subject to flooding and can damage property, close roads, disrupt traffic, and present a public health and safety hazard. Whereas at the request of local communities, funding from New York City Department of Environmental Protection, DEP, is being made available to help property owners who qualify for the NYC-funded flood buyout program, NYC-FFBO, based on eligibility criteria in 5 categories. Hydraulic study properties recommended by engineering analysis. 2, CWC flood hazard mitigation implementation program. 3, community approved stream management project. 4, erosion hazard. And 5, inundation hazard. And whereas the town of Shandaken has conducted a local flood analysis, LFA, including a hydraulic analysis of flooding in the town, and the LFA recommends certain properties that are subject to repetitive flooding damage should be considered for flood buyout. And whereas the property at 620 Oliveria Road, Oliveria, New York, 12410, section block lot 12.18-1-13 has been recommended for consideration for buyout in the LFA. And the town has been approached by Gary J. and Michelle E. Damiana, the owners of the property, requesting to participate in the NYC FFBO program under the hydraulic study category. And whereas the town of Shandaken has the option to decline ownership of the property, choosing instead New York City to own the property, but has desire to own this property for future flood mitigation activities. And whereas the town of Shandaken understands that this town-owned property will be managed by the town in use and in development of this property. All activities are to be subject to and consistent with the restrictions in flood-prone areas identified in the second supplemental agreement among West of Hudson watershed stakeholders concerning the New York City flood buyout program, page 5, 1A, 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Now therefore be it resolved, the town of Shandaken Town Board approves County of Ulster homeowners of 620 Oliveria Road, Oliveria, New York, 12410, to apply for the NYC FBO program to permanently remove this flood hazard risk, allowing the DEP to begin assessing them in the real estate process. Be it further resolved that the town of Shandaken Town Board opts to retain ownership of the parcel for future flood mitigation activities, and I move its adoption.
Second.
Board Member DeScalani?
Yes.
Board Member Steen?
Yes.
Board Member Van Blarkum?
Yes.
Supervisor Stanley?
Yes.
Resolution 58-21, supporting participation in the New York City funded flood buyout program, NYCFBO, for property along New York State Route 28, Mount Tremper, New York, without utilizing the upland areas of the property for development. Whereas the town of Shandaken previously passed resolution number 105-18 for 5257 Route 28, Mount Tremper, New York, 12457, SBL number 25.10-1-10 and 25.10-1-13, currently owned by Rodney Sage and Racine Schurter, the parcel, to be included for buyout in the LFA under the hydraulic study category. Whereas the town of Shandaken opted for town ownership to implement future good flood mitigation activities, understanding that this town-owned property will be managed by the town in conjunction with the reuse plan prepared by the town that identifies the community's long-term plan for the management, use, and development of the parcel. Whereas the May 23rd, 2015 second supplemental side agreement among West of Hudson watershed stakeholders concerning the New York City funded flood buyout program provides for the acquisition of properties that contain land outside of the mapped floodplain, the quote upland areas. Whereas the town may, but is not required, to place a conservation easement on such upland areas. Whereas the town has no intention of developing the upland areas. Therefore be it resolved that the town of Shandaken intends to grant a conservation easement to the state of New York over the entire parcel, as in the original resolution number 105-18 of 2018. All activities on the parcel, including any upland areas, shall be consistent with restrictions and allowed uses in the flood-prone areas. And move its adoption.
Second.
Board Member DeScalani?
Yes.
Board Member Steen?
Yes.
Board Member Van Blarkum?
Yes.
Supervisor Stanley?
Yes.
So, comment period, if anybody would want to call, 845-688-5004. Yeah. All right. Don't all call at once. It's
Yep,
688
busy.
5004.
Okay. I'm gonna guess there's no comments then.
No comments. Or somebody wants to comment and file.
And so with that, we're coming to the close of the meeting, and you know, every meeting we
I just put on.
every meeting we close in the memory of those who've passed. And it's funny because last week, looking at starting writing the agenda, we hadn't had anyone that had passed in the month of January until we hit Tuesday. And then it came in a big wave. So we lost 5 of our residents in the past couple days. And of those, I personally just want to mention June Lamarca. June was a very close friend of mine. Love that woman dearly. She helped establish Big Indian Park, ran Ailey's General Store in Big Indian for many, many, many years. Her and her family are a big part of the life in Big Indian, Oliveria Valley, and she will be deeply, deeply missed. She was a big part of the museum. She was a big part of Shandaken Day. And just as a short story, she's a former town board member, And to really put things in perspective, when we were at Shandaken Day meeting early on in my career, whatever, I guess, we were at a meeting and we were getting worked up about something, and she just pulled me aside. She goes, you know, Robbie, you got to calm down. Like, she goes, let me tell you a story about being a town board member. That she came to a town board meeting one time because she felt that nobody was paying attention. She would sit here month after month, do all these things. People would say things on the side of the street once in a while, but they wouldn't comment at a board meeting. They wouldn't come into the board meeting, and she thought people just didn't care. So she decided to take it upon herself to come dressed up in full Native American regalia, like a full headdress and everything, and came into the town board meeting and sat down, and they convened the meeting, and nobody said a word to her. And she went through the entire meeting, and nobody said a word to her. And they went to go to the adjourning meeting, and she said she finally turned to the supervisor at the time and said, "Are you kidding me? Nobody's going to ask me why I'm dressed up as a Native American at this meeting." And they said, "Okay, June, what's the gig? Why are you dressed up as an Indian tonight?" And she said, "Just because I wanted to see if people were paying attention." And that's the kind of person she was. She just enjoyed life, and God bless her. And she brought a lot of spirit to this town, and I'm really, really going to miss her deeply. And she's one of the tough ones that's a loss for this community. So I'm glad that we got to commemorate her with a pavilion in Big Indian Park. Again, when you go visit the park, think of June, think of the family. Again, she'll be a big loss for this community. Not to take anything away from the others that we've lost this past week, but she was a big part of this community. So, that being said, I would like to close the meeting in memory of Sue Holzer, Carl Larish, Carl Bauer, Harold Boyer, and June Lamarca.
I'll make that motion.
Second.
See you March.